God never meant for you to tackle the difficult issues of your life alone. That again is why we call this ministry Careers Through Faith. I see person after person after person that comes into my office that's been beaten down by the world, by whatever they consider as the reality, and they don't even realize that all of their decisions are being made in fear. And so the underlying concept there of Careers Through Faith is there is power in unity, there is benefit from telling your story to others and hearing their story, and together we have a collective IQ and a collective wisdom that supersedes what any of us could do individually. How many of you are thinking you're a one-talent person? You don't have to raise your hand, but I'll bet you there's a few of you. Been there, done that. It's just not an excuse, because what happens is if you step out with God and you take one step after another, what does He do with that one talent? What does He promise us? He will multiply it for us. So therefore, if you have a vision of an opportunity and you're saying, I can't, or I'm afraid, we're talking about things, well, maybe you can, and maybe you should act in faith. At least give it some thought before you dismiss it. If you're getting interviews, you're probably demonstrating you are what? Qualified. If you're getting interviews but you're not closing the sale, you have not differentiated yourself. You haven't made yourself unique. See, instead of saying, I can be anything to anyone in any circumstance, you're going to go out there confidently and say, this is who I am and this is what I'm looking for. And then immediately, as soon as you say that, you realize it takes a little bit of faith. Who am I and what does God want me to do? Most of the time, people start with, what does God want me to do? You're going to see today, as we go throughout the program, all of the exercises are staged, if you will, so that you can determine who you are, which allows us then to look at the alternatives. But a clear understanding of who you are is critical to going to the next step. And Thomas Merton basically said, the authentic road to sainthood is to be your authentic self. And so to figure out who you are, looking at those factors, what are your skills, what are your abilities, what are your interests, what are you natural at, and what's a talent. Purpose is all about what is your mission. On the other hand, you can find somebody who's working for a really good mission. They're not making much money, and they can't continue. Why? Because they do not have a sustainable income. Without the ability to sustain yourself, this ministry, your efforts, your career, your family are not going to be able to get where God wants you to go. Those of you that are here today saying you want to follow God's plan, it takes faith in order to get there.